Welcome to UMass SGA Elections, a prospective candidate's guide. First off, the composition of the SGA. The Student Government Association consists of the executive, the legislative, the judiciary, the area governments, and the House councils. The executive branch is headed by the president and vice president, and they together appoint the secretaries of finance, registry, the Attorney General, the Secretary of University Policy and External Affairs, the Secretary of Diversity Issues, the Secretary of Web Management, the Secretary of Public Relations and Recruitment, the Secretary of Sustainability, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and any additional sub-cabinet positions. The legislative is led by the Speaker and the Associate Speaker, and it consists of 50 senators who represent various residential areas, and each residential area is apportioned a different number of senators depending on its total population, and various ex officio non-voting members, primarily from the executive branch. The judiciary is appointed, and so are not part of elections, but it consists of the Chief Justice, the Associate Justice, and 5 justices. The area governments administer programming for each of the residential areas: Orchard Hill, Northeast, Central, Sylvan, North, Southwest, Southwest South, Honors College, and Commuter. And they consist of the governor, the lieutenant governor, the treasurer, and the secretary. The House councils administer programming for, advocate for, and develop the community of each residence hall. They consist of the president, the vice president, the treasurer, and the secretary. The House councils also deal with the Residential Housing Association. Elections. At UMass, there are 2 general elections per year. The first is held on or before September 30th every year in the fall, and it comprises of House Council, area government, and Senate elections. The second, held on or before March 25th each year, is the election in which the president, vice president, and the student trustee are chosen. Special elections may be called at any time to fill a vacancy not occurring due to the expiration of a term or for time-sensitive campus-wide referenda. No less than 14 days prior to an election, the Chancellor of Elections will publicly announce it. After the announcement, there shall be a nomination period of between 10 and 14 days. The election itself shall last for 3 days, during which time students may vote either online or in person at designated stations. In order to get on the ballot, although a candidate does not necessarily need to be on the ballot in order to win, as they can run as a write-in candidate, a candidate must submit a completed nomination form. Forms can be found during the nomination period at the SGA office, which is in 420 Student Union, or online at this URL. Forms come with an attached page or attached pages with signature spaces. Forms may be submitted to the SGA office or to any other location specifically designated on the nomination form. For nomination signatures, each office requires a different number of signatures from constituents in order to be on the ballot. Senators and House Council members need 25 signatures from, for House Council members, their residence hall, or for senators, their residential area. For instance, a person who wants to run for House Council President for Webster needs 25 signatures from people who live in Webster, whereas a senator who wants to run for Orchard Hill needs 25 signatures from people who live in Orchard Hill. And area government needs 100 signatures, again, from their area, and the president and student trustee need 250 from anywhere in the entire campus. Here's an example nomination form. There is a generic description of the duties of a candidate, and a candidate simply writes in his or her name, the office he or she is trying to seek, his or her ID number, campus address, cell phone, and email. And this form is submitted either to the SGA office or to any other locations listed on said nomination sheet. The extra locations may vary due to different years, and this particular nomination form represents how it was in the fall of 2012. Here's an example signature page. Here, signatories will write their name, ID, phone, address, and date of birth, and signature in order to express their wish that this candidate be nominated. People may sign more than one candidate's nomination form, and it is not a binding contract for voting. However, these cannot be forged, and they are all verified, especially with an ID number. And it is, in fact, a very serious infraction to either forge a signature or to take someone else's ID number. Campaigning. Candidates may campaign verbally and electronically, of course, electronically only in a personal manner, prior to the end of the nomination period, but they and any supporters may not do the following until afterwards. Utilize Facebook groups, websites, or other media to campaign. Post campaign material anywhere on campus, or send mass emails to campaign. After nomination ends, all campaign posters, stickers, websites, Facebook groups, TV or radio announcements, supplies, apart from standard office supplies, and other campaign materials must be approved by the Chancellor of Elections prior to use. No person may actively campaign for a candidate unless registered on said candidate's campaign workers list with the Chancellor. The Chancellor of Elections can be reached at electionscommission@stuaf.umass.edu. Campaign finance. No person may appropriate funds for campaigning except the SGA. The SGA allocates each candidate a certain amount of money to be spent at Campus Design and Copy, located in the Student Union, for campaign materials. General rules for campaigning: no libel, slander, harassment, defamation, student ID fraud, impersonation, bribery, coercion, or fund transfers are allowed. Candidates and campaign workers may only personally go door to door in their own residence hall and must be accompanied by a resident if they wish to do so in a different residence hall, as per the solicitation policy. For instance, if a candidate for Senate is running in Orchard Hill and lives in Webster, he or she may go door to door in Webster, but if he or she wishes to campaign in Dickinson Field or Grayson Halls, they must find a person from Dickinson Field or Grayson Hall to escort them around the building in order to make it legal. Candidates may not campaign within 50 feet of a polling place during the election period. Violations to election rules will be responded to with a warning, a temporary campaign suspension, or a total candidacy invalidation, depending on the severity of the infraction. Anyone may report a campaign rules violation to the Chancellor of Elections, and a hearing will be scheduled to resolve the issue. Voting. One may vote at any time during the election, either online, on Campus Pulse, or at polling stations designated by the Chancellor of Elections. Voting information will be provided in an email to all students by the Chancellor of Elections. Voters may vote for one person per office except for the office of Senator, for which they may vote for as many candidates as there are open positions. For instance, in the fall of 2012, Orchard Hill was allocated 3 Senate seats, and so voters from the Orchard Hill area were allowed to select 3 choices out of the 5 who ran for the office of Senator. Good luck. If you are considering running for office, remember, it certainly will not hurt to try, and it is a great learning experience. All undergraduate students are eligible for office. If you have any further questions, drop by the SGA office in 420 Student Union. Thank you.